Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Welcome. Nice to have you with us for more of our month-long Race and Hollywood Festival, in which we're examining how Latinos have been portrayed on movie screens over the years. And with me right now, as he has been every Tuesday and Thursday in primetime this month, is my co-host for the festival, Chon Noriega, professor at UCLA and author of this terrific book called Shot in America, Television, the State, and the Rise of Chicano Cinema. Thanks for being here, Chon.
Thank you, Robert.
Now, for the next several hours, we're going to focus on films about Latinos which involve gangs. And up first is a film from 1988 starring Edward James Olmos, and it's called Stand and Deliver. Why did you pick this film?
Well, this film is actually quite unusual in the context of the other films we'll see focused on gangs. First of all, there are gang members in the film, but it's not the defining feature of Chicano or Latino youth. Instead, it's one of a number of factors that play into a story that's based on real events, in particular revolving around a high school teacher, Jaime Escalante, who's a Bolivian immigrant, and who led a group of high school students at Garfield High School to take and pass the advanced placement exams in calculus. It's also unique in being based on a true story that the filmmakers read about in the Los Angeles Times. And it's also set at Garfield High School and on location in East Los Angeles. And it takes really a very diverse approach to depicting the community and, in particular, the kids, the students.
Diverse in what way?
Well, diverse because the students aren't treated as all good or all bad. Instead, you have a wide range of different characters, rather than having everything explained in one kind of cookie-cutter fashion, which is essentially what many of the gang films that Stand and Deliver responds to end up doing.
Was this an independent film or a major studio film?
This is an independent film that was released by a studio, but the funding is actually kind of fascinating because they ended up getting some of their early money from ARCO and also from the National Science Foundation, and as a way of being able to actually make the film.
Anything in particular we should watch for in this film?
Well, this is just a knockout performance by Edward James Olmos, who spent a month shadowing Jaime Escalante, kind of learning all of his moves, and then decided he had to really, in order to play the role authentically, he had his hair thinned and gained 40 pounds. And it's just an amazing performance.
Let's have a look. Here it is with an Academy Award-nominated performance by Edward James Olmos and a premiere for us here on TCM. From 1988, Stand and Deliver. Wow, great performance from Edward James Olmos, who, as a matter of fact, I think is 3 times in the festival.
Absolutely.
Holds a record, along with Ricardo Montalban, also in 3 of the films. And I'm back with my co-host, Chon Noriega, to talk about how this film fits into TCM's festival, about race in Hollywood, Latino Images in film. Now, this movie was a terrific movie. How did the press and audiences accept it when it came out?
Well, the film was very favorably reviewed, but what was interesting is it came out concurrent with 3 other films from that time, all directed by Latino filmmakers.
This was by?
The director of this film is Ramón Menéndez, who's a Cuban-born filmmaker.
Right.
And at the time, there was this idea that what we were seeing was a Hispanic Hollywood, which was Latino-produced and directed films that were aimed for a general audience. And what was interesting is that the press reviewed all of these fairly favorably, but there was a crucial difference in terms of the mainstream English language press and the Latino press, whether it was in English or Spanish. And that's how they translated the word barrio. They all agreed that these were what the films were about, but in the mainstream press, they translated it to mean slum, and in the Latino press, they translated it to mean neighborhood. And I think you see a crucial difference there, and it explains, in some sense, the difference between Stand and Deliver and the other films that we'll see tonight, is how they understood that term and what they did with it in making the film.
Do you have a favorite moment in this film that you like?
Oh, I think there's there are so many. What I have as a favorite aspect of it is that it's about teachers, since I'm a teacher, and I think it's important to realize that the filmmakers aren't holding up Jaime Escalante as a unique figure, but as one of a number. Another very, very influential teacher at that time, a decade and a half earlier, Sal Castro, who created the Chicano Youth Leadership Conferences. And out of that, you have alumni who include the current mayor of Los Angeles, congressmen, Supreme Court justices, and even a Hollywood producer that's produced a number of the films in this festival, Moctezuma Esparza.
And are we getting good Latino images in films today?
You know, we are, but we really haven't seen a significant increase in the number of films. What's happened is over time, from the late 70s on, is more and more you see the films directed by Latino directors or writers, and you see a new generation of actors who are able to lay claim to star status and to being able to open a film.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on. Stay with us. Chon and I are going to be back in a moment to introduce another TCM premiere, and it stars a young Robbie Benson as a member of a gang who wants to get out and who wants to get off the streets.